Good morning, this is Rabbi Shlomo, first year Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi. We are learning Avos, our first year in the morning, and we are in the middle of the Maharal Mefrag's explanation of Shmuel Katan's statement of the foil Oyevecha al Tismach. Maybe just to catch you up, maybe read the first citation we have up here, and then we'll go back into the Maharal.
Okay.
That's a quote for the Mishnah.
Shmuel Katan Omer, Mishle Kav Dalet, Dinafol Oivecha Al Tismach Uvechashlo Al Yagal Livad
Libcha.
Libcha.
Right. With the downfall of your enemy, don't rejoice, and with his stumbling, right, don't be glad in your heart.
Oh, okay. And Hashem, perhaps Hashem will see the Roa,
right?
And
the Roa being it will be evil in Hashem's eyes.
It'll be evil. The Ra b'nei beinav, the Hashiv ma'alav apo, and he will sit upon you with his mouth.
No, and apo is like it'll come. It literally it means Hashiv ma'alav apo. It's going to be turned upon. It's going to be turned upon apo, like from upon you. It'll turn, meaning whatever bad is supposed to happen to that enemy of yours, it's going to turn back upon you and be thrust upon you.
Now, who's it talking about when it says enemy?
Okay, that's another question we haven't gotten to exactly yet. What's your question about what's talking
They're talking about doctor, your enemy, somebody who's a wicked person, or is it talking about somebody who really should be your friend?
Okay, so that we'll get to discuss exactly what kind of an enemy we're referring to.
Okay.
Yeah, good question. So now let's jump back into the Maharal Mefrag. It says it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, the sixth line into the Maharal Mefrag.
3, 4, 5, 6.
And that's the
Hine.
We all have it there? I'm on one sheet. Oh, you got it.
And it was Shmuel HaKatan Mitaudim from his students, Shel Rabban Gamliel, from the students of Rabban Gamliel.
So Shmuel HaKatan was one of the disciples of Talmidim of Rabban Gamliel.
Oh, he was from him.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying Shmuel HaKatan was one of the Talmidim of Rabban Gamliel.
Kida Isa b'perech echad, that there was one perech.
Oh no, as it's brought b'perech echad dinei momenos. That's
dinei momenos.
That it, as it is
the first perech, first chapter.
Well, actually, no, that's the name of the perech. Echad dinei momenos. That's the name of the chapter.
Okay. Sanhedrin Yud Aleph. Aleph?
Yeah, that's the Gemara. The Gemara there is in Sanhedrin Daf Yud Aleph, Amid Aleph.
Oh, Amid Aleph, I see. The Kedem, the Kadim, Tova, and it was from the east. It was good.
I'm not sure what that's referring to yet. Let's see further. Let's see. Kidim Tova.
Uma.
I believe that he achieved a lot. Really, he excelled. Maybe that's what it means. Kidim Tova, he excelled very much. Right?
This is referring to Shmuel
HaKatan, because you have these. Why is he called a Katan? That's one thing we're going to.
Okay. Uma shenikra Shmuel HaKatan. And just as it was stated by Shmuel HaKatan,
in this account is why. Why is it called Ma.
Oh, why was he called Shmuel HaKatan? The Davar Zeh, and this matter, Haya Kitsas Genoi, it was a little bit of a embarrassment.
Yeah, or disgrace. It was a little bit disgraceful. Likro
Likra
Oso
Oso B'Shem Katan, that he was called this name little.
To make a reference to someone as being small or little, it's not exactly what you call
A nice thing to say.
Exactly.
Even if it's just that he's a small person, physically, and you're just stating a fact, but nevertheless, it's not
to point it out.
so good.
Yeah. So what's this point about him being called Shmuel HaKatan?
Upirsho Yerushalyim, and it is explained in the Jerusalem Talmud, Sota, at the end of Sota, Shepirusho, that the explanation, Shahayu Shanim, there were two Shanikra'u that were called Shmuel. There were two people that were called Shmuel, so you had to disambiguate between them.
Right.
Shmuel ha-Navi, Shmuel ha-Navi, Shmuel Zehu HaKatan, and Shmuel the one who was little.
What would that make a difference in learning?
No, because when you're referring to Shmuel, you have to realize who you're referring to.
Which Shmuel?
But it's hundreds of years later.
Correct.
And in the Gemara, they don't bring the Navi. They bring Navi. They say Navi so-and-so.
Right.
So why would it matter?
So, because it's also telling you something else, which is look at the next line. The next line is also, right?
Umashma, and we derive Shekaton, that the little one, mi Shmuel, concerning Shmuel, Hanavi, the prophet, Haya, it was. He was also small. Aval, Gadol, Mishar, B'nai Adam, but he was great from the gates of people.
From other people.
From other
Mishar,
people.
yeah.
Mishar.
Shar, that's with an
He
ayin.
was great regarding other people.
Shar with an ayin would be key.
Got it.
Right. So he's explaining as follows: the fact that he's trying to answer why would Shmuel HaKatan be referred to as Shmuel HaKatan when it's not the most flattering thing to be called small or little. Right. So it's said that there are two Shmuels, Shmuel and Navi, and we have the Shmuel that we're referring to as Shmuel HaKatan. So it's Mashma Shekatan Shmuel HaNavi, that it's Mashma that he was less than Shmuel HaNavi, but he was greater from the rest of the other people, right?
He was bigger than other people. He must be.
Yeah, right. And he was smaller in some way, probably, or whatever is small in some way, and small, and he was greater than other people. Yeah.
The Kevan She Tzarich, and since that it's necessary, he hayachar.
It came in the Torah Heker.
Heker.
Beineu ubein Shmuel HaNavi.
Distinguish?
Yeah, since you need to distinguish between the Heker is to make some type of a distinction. Since you had to discriminate, right, to distinguish between Shmuel HaNavi and Shmuel.
Mizeh, from this, Teda She Haya Gedol Ma'od. What's Teda?
You shall know.
You should know that Shmuel HaNavi was bigger.
No, you know that Shmuel HaKatan was very great. From the fact that he had to be distinguished from that of Shmuel HaNavi, you know that he was greater than other people, and also you know he himself was very great, because there is some kind of comparison with him and Shmuel HaNavi, and you had to distinguish between the two, so you had to call one smaller, so Shmuel HaKatan was referred to Shmuel HaKatan, but from that you realize that he was very great, in fact.
I don't see why you realize he was very great. I mean, the connection between him and Shmuel HaNavi is just their name. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's comparable to Shmuel.
No, that's what she's saying, that this reference to smallness is a reference that he was a small Shmuel.
He was saying he was like Shmuel.
Right, he was a small Shmuel. Right? He was like a small Shmuel Navi.
V'haya Roy, and it's proper l'sader to complete Divarav the Mala. The words of the upper words, the words from above.
V'haya Roy l'sader Divarav l'mala, and it was fit that it should be arranged his words l'mala in a favorable way. Like a mile is something which is an advantage. So his roy, it's fit that his words should be arranged in an advantageous way.
These are the words of Shmuel Khan. Ella, but mipnei she'amar, because that he said v'al tishtadel, and don't tishtadel, don't make a distinction.
Don't make efforts, right?
Tishtadel,
That's a quote from what we had before. It says the previous statement to the statement of Shmuel Navi was al tishtadel l'roiso v'shas kol kola, right?
What does that mean?
Well, it's like this. It says really, Lamal is really literally previously. So like this, and it was fit that his words should be arranged previously, not where they are now, but previously. So rather, since the previous statement was that you should not put out efforts to see somebody in the time of their disgrace. Sadar acharav divrei Shmuel HaKatan. Afterwards, the words of Shmuel HaKatan were arranged and placed afterwards.
Because they dovetail in with the
Right.
previous
They
statement.
complement the previous statement, as we're going to see now.
Don't rush to see that your enemy in trouble, and don't rejoice over his downfall.
Right.
Those two need to go.
Right. They're adjacent to each other for a good reason.
Shamar binapol oivecha al tismach, and say that the downfall of your enemy, you are happy. Not the downfall of your enemy. Don't say that the downfall of your enemy makes you happy.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't be happy with the downfall of your enemy. Don't be happy.
Don't be happy.
Or don't rejoice.
Shalom tita'a the farash, and don't something to explain.
Right. Don't be mistaken. Right. Shalom tita. Don't mistakenly come to explain.
Ma, what, shamar, that it's stated, al tishtadel liroso b'shas. Now that's gate, right?
Time. This is at the
That's
time.
got the eye. This is something.
The race. Yes. It was the race at the end of the shot. Okay, you're trying. Good. No, it's good to try. It's very good.
I did hear what you said. Just got the eye.
Good.
And you shouldn't say about the disgrace of seeing at the time kal so of his downfall. Mipnei Sheva, because Sheva that will come lishmoach v'chamo shepir rash no. that will come
to rejoice, the Smoilach, will come to rejoice.
Like,
and as
Shepirashana,
as we have explained. Shepirashana, as we have explained. So, okay, like this. So first of all, we're being told why it's called Shmuel Katan. So even though it seems to be that's a little bit of a degrading thing to call somebody small or little, right? It was really a praise of Shmuel to show how great he was, because he was like a small Shmuel. So that means he's comparable in some way to Shmuel Navi, who, as Amra mentioned, was hundreds of years earlier, right? So he was very great. And so his words really should have been placed in an earlier part of the Mishnayos. However, right, since the previous statement was made, right, you should not al-tishtadel leros b'shas kilkolos. That person should not be eager and put forth efforts to see somebody at the time of his distress, his downfall. Therefore, these words of Shmuel Katan came on the heels of that previous statement, in order that we should not make a mistake and explain that we're talking about, right, not to put out efforts to see somebody at the time of his downfall. That's because why? Because you're going to come to be happy, right? You might think, what's the whole point? Why shouldn't you see somebody when he's on the down? Because you might come to be happy. That's not the pshat, right? That's not the pshat at all. Because even your enemy, you're not supposed to rejoice when he's on the down, right? So that can't be why you're not supposed to be putting out efforts and trying to see somebody when he's down and out. So now, what does it mean? So now, that's what you're not supposed to learn. But yesh tefarish, what does it mean then? Right now, he's going to tell you what the pshat is.
Yesh tefarish, there is to explain Dema, that what she'amar, that he said, va'al tishtadel liroso b'shas kal so. Don't be eager to see the time of his downfall. Mipnei bodai af shehu ba liros ech hu no heg asur. Translate a little bit. Mipnei, since devadai, that certainly af, even shehu ba, that he came liros, to see eich, how who he noheg, managed,
how he should behave,
how he should behave asur, with prohibitions.
No, because it's asur, meaning like this. Yesh lefarish demasha omer. This is to explain that what is being said. Al tishtadel liroso b'shas kalkolo mipnei bevadai af shehu ba liros ehu neshayik asur. And even if he's going to, what's he interested in seeing this person in his downfall? Because he wants to know what to do. He wants to know what to do. How should he act in this situation? That's still asur. Meaning, even if you want to try and help them in some way, no, you shouldn't get involved. That's asur. Mishum, why?
What to do means how to help your enemy.
Yeah, even no. This proof say al shtadel liroso b'shas kakol is not talking. It's talking about your chaver. It's not talking about your enemy, right? They're talking about your friend, even, right?
So you could reason and you could say, I want to see him in his time of trouble so that I can help him.
Yeah, even if you want to help him. No, it's still asur. You should not do that. Why?
Mishum sheha mikalkal, because that the trouble.
Hamikalkal, the one who was downfallen, the one who's being disgraced. The one who's being disgraced.
Yechashuv. Yechashuv, he's important.
No, he will think.
Yechashov, he will think. Ki hu samach, because he's happy. The kal so, for his downfall. Whose downfall is this?
Like you have this person who's being disgraced in some way, right? He's in some type of embarrassing situation, right? So at that point, when someone's in an embarrassing situation, right, it's forbidden for you to put forth efforts to see him in his moments of embarrassment and disgrace.
Right.
Why? Because that person who's being embarrassed and in the disgraceful situation that he's in right now will think that you are coming to see him, right, in his time of embarrassment and disgrace, in order that you should be happy over it. And he's Yitzhar B'Yoser, and that'll even add to his pain and distress. Yitzhar B'Yoser.
Distress.
Yitzhar B'Yoser, right? He'll be distressed even more. So by you coming to look at him when he's being disgraced and embarrassed, when he sees you coming to see him, he's going to be even more pained and distressed than if you hadn't been there. So therefore the mitzvah is not to approach him at that time, rather to turn away and not let him know.
V'samach acharav divrei Shmuel hakatan. And it is placed afterwards the words of Shmuel HaKatan, Lomar, to say, Ki lifa'amim, because sometimes, af im, even with lo yistadel, that you're not rushing, lir'oso, to see him, Bishas, in a time kal so of his trouble, Eino mitztaref, it's not difficult, mikal kal, for the disgraced person, Vaha mikal kal, and the disgraced person, Shalach, will send Acharav after him, Bishvil, because of Inyan Ma, because of this subject.
Okay, one second. Let's review this. Okay, B'samach acharav divrei Shmuel HaKatan. The words of Shmuel HaKatan were adjoined to the previous statement of Al Tishtadel Eroso B'shas Kilkoso. Why? All right. Lo'omer ki lefamim af im lo yishtadel eroso b'shas kilkoso. Even there'll be some times that he hasn't tried to go and see him at the time of his disgrace. Ve'enim itztar hamikalkel, and the one who's being disgraced is not going to be pained by it. V'amikolkel shalach achra b'shvila inyan ma, and it could even be that the one who's being disgraced is actually calling out to him for some reason in some way, right? But ulai, perhaps
Yavo liadei simcha, he will come into the influence of happiness. Kevan, since shehu sono,
right now,
that he hates.
Right, because we're talking, in the first statement was talking about your friend. You shouldn't try and see your friend when he's being disgraced. And even if it's going to turn out that you'll, without any efforts, come to see somebody in a time of disgrace, and that person's not going to be, right, upset or pained because you're seeing him in his time of disgrace, right? But however, ulai, perhaps simcha, perhaps nevertheless you'll come to some type of a joy, even shu soinai, in the case of Shmuel HaKatan, since this person, this enemy of yours, is your enemy for some reason or another. We'll try and find out what kind of enemy we're talking about. But he's some person that you have a dislike and a non.
I'm confused. We're mixing together the friend and the enemy.
Well, no, because Shmuel HaKatan is referring to your enemy. The first statement previous to that is referring to your friend. So even your friend, even a friend of yours, you're not supposed to go and see him in the time of his disgrace, because he's going to be pained by you seeing him in a time of disgrace, right? Because and you may come to somehow be happy about his time of disgrace. And now Shmuel Katan says, because the whole question is, why is it joining this statement to that?
Who's the one that's calling out? Shalach. Is that the enemy or the friend?
No, that's going to be Shalach Achra B'Shvila Inyima. I mean, that's the friend. The friend may call to you, even if he's going to call to you, right?
Right.
And to help you, they may need your help. Still, you're not supposed to put out efforts to see him at the time of his disgrace. Because why? When it comes to the now Shmuel Katan's case, you're talking about a Soine, an enemy of yours, right? You're not supposed to rejoice, right, over the downfall of your enemy. Al Yelech Elav, right? Don't go to him. You're not supposed to go to him. Meaning, if it's your friend that's being disgraced, you're not supposed to go to him to see him at that time. And certainly you know that you shouldn't go when your enemy's having the time of disgrace. Because Shmuel Katan says it's also for you to be happy when your enemy's having a downfall.
But why, even if the case is that your friend calls out to you, why should you not go in that case?
Oh,
Because you might be jealous of your enemy.
No, if he calls out to you,
Yeah.
so then you're not putting out efforts to go see him. He's calling you, so you come to his aid, right? But you're not. You don't think that you're supposed to go and put out efforts to see him at a time of his downfall, right? Leave him alone, because if you do go, right, you may be happy over something that's happening to him, right? And right, that's going to increase his pain and embarrassment, right? So that's with a friend. So therefore, why do we put the words of Shmuel right after this about your enemy? You should not be happy with his downfall, right? Because that's a situation where you're definitely going to be happy, right? So therefore, even by your friend, you're not supposed to put out efforts to see him when he's in a bad situation. Then Shmuel Katan comes and tells you when your enemy is falling and has fallen, you're not supposed to be happy over that. Because that's going to be, as he says, right, you may come to joy, because he is your enemy, and you may be rejoicing over his downfall. Therefore, you shouldn't go to him, right? Even a friend you shouldn't go to, right?
Right.
When he's down, don't go to a friend for separate reasons. But the reason why Shmuel Katan's words were joined to that is to tell you that the situation of seeing your friend in a bad situation is bad for you. That if you go to a situation where your friend is having a hard time and you're happy over his bad time for some reason or another, that's going to be bad for you. And what's worse, right, is if you are happy about your enemy's downfall. And that for that we'll have to discuss that next time, how when you are happy over your enemy's downfall, how is that bad for you? So two things. You have your friend and you have your enemy, right? And you're not supposed to make efforts to see your friend when he's down, right? And when your enemy's down, you're not supposed to be happy.
So what's the middle case where your friend is down and he calls out for help? Are you supposed to go?
Yeah. Because that's you're not being mishtadel. You're told don't be mishtadel, right? Don't put out efforts to see him when he's down. But if he calls you, right, you're not doing anything. You're passive.
So then it's okay.
That would be okay. Because then you know he wants you there, right? Mm-hmm. But if you don't know that he wants you there, so you don't be with him at that point. Leave him alone. Let him work it out by himself. If he needs you, he'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay, we'll stop here and we'll continue with this next week. Rabbeinu Yoni, go to Rabbeinu Yoni. Okay, Mr. Show will start next year in a few minutes.
So,
will there eventually be a chiluk made between rejoicing or not rejoicing in a Jew's downfall versus a Gentile's downfall? Is that sort of where we're heading?
We'll have to see if they make that distinction.
That seems like because I guess what originally sparked the conversation was sort of how we were reading the drowning of the Mitzrayim in Yam Suf.
Yeah, well, we already dealt with that in the Shabbat Eleket. That was already dealt with in the go over the Shabbat Eleket. We dealt with that actually.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but yes, because they. Well, you mean why we say Halal all 7 days of Pesach? Or no, that's just
That's why we don't. That's why we don't. And that's why you have to explain Hanukkah. You have to explain Hanukkah in the same way.
But that's just
that's referring to your enemies, and that's referring to even non-Jews. Right? So you see, it's applicable to non-Jewish enemies.
This source was just about Delvin, not about rejoicing.
About what?
This source was just about Delvin, not
No,
about...
Halal is joy. Halal is synonymous with joy, for sure.
Halal is synonymous with
Joy,
joy.
for sure. Yeah. That's how it's applied. It's applied, right?
This means we do rejoice. So we rejoice in the... But how do you know that we're rejoicing because the Egyptians drowned and not because we left Mitzrayim? I mean, yes.
No, that was 7 days later. We already left Mitzrayim.
I see. But you could say that you really didn't leave Mitzrayim until Mitzrayim saw them dead on the right, or until they, like the Yam Suf was sort of the mental barrier between. Even though they left whatever Ramses and the other one, the city, like 7 days before, really the emotional, the psychological leaving was Yam Suf. That was the real departure. So you could say that they really left Mitzrayim that day, and really, so maybe they're not Besimcha because they died, because that would account for the Peshat of the Midrash. That why are you rejoicing? Although then we do one of these and say, oh, well, that only applies to the Malachim. Why are the Malachim rejoicing? But therefore, Am Yisrael can rejoice at the drowning of the Mitzrayim.
Well, the actual shibud, the actual leaving of Mitzrayim took place the first day. Now, in terms of our concern about our enemies following us and perhaps bringing us back into captivity and perhaps killing us and all these things, so that was fine, taking care of it at the Yam Suf, right? But and for the fact that our enemies were destroyed, right? So we have a right, as we saw previously, that the Maral says that the second citation, the Avin Yerushalyim Rina, that's what we discussed already, that with the destruction of the evil people, there's gladness, there's joyous song, Rina, right? When the Russia is destroyed, Yeshlo L'Smoyach, that they cover the Mokum because of their honor of HaKodesh Baruch Hu. HaKodesh Baruch Hu ba'atzmo einu sos v'folos l'shal Rishonim shetikala einu yafeh. But HaKodesh Baruch Hu himself is not glad in the downfall of the evil people, right? Shetikala einu yafeh, because destruction, right? Destruction is not nice. That's we spoke about that early in the week. The whole
Right.
essence of HaKodesh Baruch Hu is creation. Anything which is destruction is contrary to the essence of HaKodesh Baruch Hu.
So Yeshlo is an option, not an obligation. It's not a chiyuv. And certainly, even in Chumash, it says at least one time that we should try to be like Hashem, right? Mm-hmm. So in light of that, it seems like if Hashem is not rejoicing, we too should not rejoice.
Well, cover the Makom, right? We have an obligation of cover the Makom. That's why on Purim, right? On Purim, we are very happy. Purim is one of the happiest days of the year.
Because Am Yisrael was saved.
Right, but also no, that's not so simple. That we have obligation to drink on Purim because we have to lose the distinction between right Baruch, Mordechai, and Orah, right? So you take a look at the Mishnah Berurah there. He speaks about at the very beginning of that whole point was this exact Nekuda. That the Mishnah Berurah says over here, it says, Chayvanish l'sumi kurim yad shelo yad bein or hamen v'orach Mordechai. Verse Daled. Oh, shezeh mapala rishon shenitol nakama rabba memenu. This is the first downfall that Hashem took vengeance upon him. V'oy toiva yaiser mizeh. Gedulus Mordechai. You know, there's even something even greater than this. That was the rise of Mordechai to imminence. Shebaruchu Kadosh Baruchu Sha'ala Lamala Rosh. And the Kadosh Baruch blessed him, and he rose to the highest level. Okay? So Kodem Yishtakir Nosen Bevadai Total Hashem Yisborach Al Shtei Toivos. The downfall of Haman is a toiva, and the rise of imminence of Mordechai, that's also a toiva.
So downfall could just mean the removal from office, not necessarily the death of. So this
No, that's in the Kama. The Kama is not just simple removal. The Kama took vengeance upon him, and these are referred to as two toivos, two good things. And we have to give Torah. We have to give thanks to Kadosh Baruch. But that's what we have to give thanks. Our giving thanks, right? We have to somehow separate our giving thanks to Kadosh Baruch Hu from a personal joy that we have, right? A personal joy that we have. We have to be removed enough from ourselves to not have a personal joy, but our joy, right? Our thanksgiving to Kadosh Baruch Hu has to be because of the wonderful things He did in bringing vengeance, taking vengeance upon Haman. He wanted to destroy us, and Hashem took vengeance upon him and destroyed him instead.
But doesn't that word vengeance imply a correction of a problem? That, in other words, taking vengeance means fixing up the problem that was caused by the bad person or the bad situation.
Not so sure. I don't know if taking vengeance has that connotation. There is such a thing that you make corrective measures. There is such a thing like that, but whether that's included in karma, vengeance, I'm not sure if that's included in that exactly.
So what are you saying? You're saying vengeance means to kill him for no reason except you're angry?
No. Vengeance is to mete out punishment for someone who's deserving it. Take vengeance upon them. That's going to be the whole. That's the whole next week's parsha, right? What's the whole next week's parsha beginning with? Right? Next week begin. Right? It says. After the day that that happened by Baal Peor, right? That happened by Baal Peor. So it was called a war of vengeance.
Talking about Pinchas?
Yeah.
But again, you could say the same thing. You would say that he was acting to stop the plague.
No, that was before him. Afterwards, after the plague was stayed, so then. Actually, it's in the Parshas Matos, right? V'yidaber Hashem al Moshe lemor nakoim nikmas b'nei Yisrael me'esa midyonim asar tayasef el amecha. Right? You take vengeance to the vengeance of the Jewish people from from the Yerushalyim, what they did.
And that is to exact punishment on them
Right.
by killing them.
Right. Yeah, Moshe Rabbeinu was upset that they let the women and children remain alive. Okay, we have a
So
week or two to get to that, means Hashem.
let me go back one step. It's always bothered me. Why do we boo Haman? It always seems to me like, well, first of all, it seems like a little childish. And you could say, well, it's for the benefit of the children, which I would say, okay, so then why did the adults do it? And second of all, it seems like we're violating this principle of rejoicing at the downfall of our enemies.
Yeah, well, that Haman has a particular connection with Timke Eis Zecher Molech. You have to wipe out any name of a Molech. So it has to do with wiping out a Molech. That's from the Gregory also. That's part of wiping out his name.
Okay.
Haman is a Molech.
Right.
You don't see that with.
But what about the thought that it's detrimental to you to be rejoicing about somebody dying? I mean, let's take, for example, Osama bin Laden. So when he was killed, a lot of people were very happy about it. And I felt uncomfortable. Because I felt like, okay, I'm glad he was killed. He was an evil person. He needed to be killed. But to be smiling and joking and laughing about it seemed to me to be not proper conduct.
But that's the whole point here. That's what the moral is telling us, that even if Abo Hashem Yisborach Atzmo Ein Sas B'Prosol Shorshuyim, Shetekala Ein Yofer. Tekala is not nice. Any form of destruction is not nice. It's not. It goes against the whole essence of HaKodesh Baruch Hu. The whole essence of the world is that hopefully you're building for things you're doing things which are constructive, not destructive.
So you're saying in the case of Osama bin Laden, it's a valid principle, but not in the case of Haman because Haman is Amalek?
Well, Haman is, first of all, as the Mishnah Berurah said over here, we have to be thankful to HaKodesh Baruch Hu, right, over these hits. The Nakama that Hashem, the vengeance that Hashem took vengeance on Haman, right? And that vengeance, we have to be grateful to HaKodesh Baruch Hu that he did that.
Right. I have no problem with that.
Right. So now,
that's not good.
Oh, that's exactly right. What we have to do is we have to sift through the different feelings, emotions, and attitudes that we're having here. We have to.
But wait a second. When they saw the Egyptians crossing,
Right.
they sang Shira.
Right.
So they were happy.
Right.
So why shouldn't we be happy when it's the downfall? I'm just asking. Why shouldn't we be happy for the downfall of our enemies?
Oh, so part of that is we see on Shvi Shel Pesach and on Chol HaMoed of Pesach we don't say Shira, a full Shira, right?
Okay.
Even though that's a commemoration of those exact events,
Okay.
right? And that's what they've explained to us because of this statement, right? With the downfall of your friend, of your enemy. Talking about and again, the Mishnah Berurah didn't say that we have to be joyful over the comment that Hashem took on Haman, right? He said we have to give thanks, right, over the blessing and the bracha, right, that came to Mordecai, and also the vengeance that was given to and taken out upon Haman. So we have to give thanks for it, right? Now, when you give thanks, you have to do it joyously or not. That's another thing. Okay, that's number one. Number two is when we're saying Hallel, that's what they explained here about Hanukkah too. The question is Hanukkah. How can we say a full Hallel during Hanukkah? The Greeks were dying as well. All those elephants. Think of all those elephants that died. They're all dying. getting killed and wiped out.
Also, there were Jews, there was a civil war.
Yeah, that's
Jews that were done.
Yes, that's also. But when we're saying Hallel, so the answer to that is we're not saying Hallel over the war and over the victory. We're saying Hallel over the miracle of the candles, of the shemen, of the menorah, right? That's what we're saying Hallel for, because we're not supposed to be saying Hallel over the destruction of the Greeks and their elephants, right? Just like we're not supposed to be saying
In
Hallel.
this parsha, we see there was another shira said, right?
Oh.
This week's parsha, and nobody says anything not to say.
Oh, so the question is, what was that shira all about? Okay.
According to what I understand, that shira
Which
was
sure are you talking about?
the one something or other. The shira when the mountains crush the Amorites in the middle, and then there's blood coming out into the valley, into the rivers, and they see the blood and they start praising God. That's in this week's parsha.
Okay.
Actually, I think it was
Last week's parsha?
I think it was last.
Oh, it could be last week's parsha. Yeah, last week's parsha. The end of last week. That's right. Alay something.
Yeah, most likely I'll quote it to you.
Az Yashir Yisrael.
Az Yashir Yisrael es Ashira Hazos
That's
Ali Be'er
Ali Be'er.
Enu Lo Be'er HaRuha Sorin Ruha Medivrei Ha'am Mimokute Mimishmosei Mimishmosei Sam Midbara Tamatana Matana Nachriel Nachriel Vamos Vamos Angaya Asher Besdei Moar Bereish Apiska Mishkafa Al Penei
And then we have the situation with the king who of 300,000 people, 200,000, 500,000 people died, and he didn't say Shira, and that's why he's not Mashiach. So,
Which king is this?
I forgot which king.
I think it was
Oh, in,
Hiskiyahu.
Hiskiyahu, right. Yeah.
So he didn't say Shira, and because of him we don't have Mashiach, because he didn't say Shira. So there has to be somewhere in between that if it's somebody who's trying to kill you, there has to be an understanding that we should be allowed to. I'm just asking.
So make sure you're here next week. We can work it out. We're on the way.
That time to run this ready.
Yeah, sure. Next Yom Rishon is the tiniest, but it won't be breakfast. But we'll be here.
Okay.
Well, yeah, so Sunday's a normal day?
Yeah, that's fine.
Just when Sundays till 2:30.
Well, I leave before then, but you can stay till 4 o'clock Friday night if you want.
What do we do here?
What are you gonna do here? Good.